This is the real estate sales report. The first step that they're asking us to do is to remove this blank row. And you could click in here, right click, delete. However, if you do click on the delete here, you just click on the delete, you've shifted data. I'm undoing. If you do that, make the correct selection, delete sheet rows. We're going to do an property IDs. We literally type in 2018-001. We drag it down. It does the autofill. It works with months of the year, days of the year, and other methodologies. We want to determine the number of days this was on the market. We subtract date listed from the date sold. That's a higher number. A date is a number. So it's E5 minus D5. Drag it down. We want the prices in here. Accounting, no decimal points. Highlight these cells here. I could click and drop down arrow here. I click on accounting. I don't want the decimal points. I reduce them twice. I want to know the percent that it sold for of the house. We're going to format it with 2 decimal points. Gives you answers in the book. Equal sales price divided by make it a percent, add 2 decimal points, pull it down. We want to wrap the headings in row 4. I click in the 4. Wrap text. We have that in there. We want a column in between. We're going to be moving text. I will put it in between date sold and list price. I'm going to move the days on the market. You could do a cut and paste. Dagger. Delete the column. They can be done in other ways too, following the instructions in the book. We're going to change the date of Chestnut Circle, the date listed, to 4/22. When you're in the current year, you don't have to type the whole year. Click inside the cell, literally type over it. Changes the number of days it was on the market. The house on Amsterdam Drive is now has a list price, or had a list price of $355,000. You'll see how the percentage changed. You want to make the property rows 25. I highlight these. You can click on format, row height. I type in 25. I want it centered vertically, middle of the line, so it has a little more space in there. I want to put borders around the cells. We click here, we go into the window panes here. I say all borders. If you want to change the color, you could right click inside here. I'm going to show you this. Format cells. And I click on borders. It shows them there. I want to change the color. Let's say I want to make them green. I could just click on inside, outside. It's green there. You could change the thickness. Then you say OK. not in the text, something worth knowing about. What we're going to do here in E5 through E12, we're going to align right. I'm going to click on the indent. You have decrease, increase, indent. So what I will do is click in here, not do anything. This one pulls it in. You don't want to center numbers, especially when you have like 1, 100, and 1,000. Difficult to read. You want to do scaling of 120%. You go into the corner here. I'm just going to zoom this in a little bit more to make it easier to read. We want to delete a worksheet. This is step letter N. I right click in here, left click on delete. You cannot undo this. It's gone forever. I want to do a new worksheet. It's called sheet 1. I call it formulas. Double click. I want to copy what was in that original sheet. I highlight everything, Control A, or you can click inside here. Copy, paste, everything is in there. Next thing we're going to do, I want to display the formulas, hide columns. I want to hide date sold and days on market. Date listed and date sold. Highlight these two columns, right click, hide. Next thing we're going to do, I want to see the formulas. You could do Control tilde or click on formulas, show formulas. You're going to set this to print grid lines and column headings, page layout, sheet, grid lines, row and column headings. We want the columns to auto fit. I can highlight these columns here. I could just double click. So everything is a little bit smaller because you're going to be printing this out. Next thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing a page setup with landscape and a few other features with footers. You can do them simultaneously. I'm going to click on houses sold. I'm going to hold down the control key and click on formulas. You have them both set up. I am going to click on page set up and I'm going to make this landscape. I want to center horizontally and vertically. And I'm going to put a footer on the left side. I click in here. You put in your name. In the middle, we want the name of the sheet, which is right here. And the right, the file name. We say OK. If I click on print preview, it's going to show this sheet, that sheet, I'm just going to close out of this right now. If I go into Control P, it gives you a preview here. I'm going to say all sheets. Active sheets. I'm going to say entire workbook. I click in here. One has the formulas, the other one doesn't. But for some reason, it did not show the borders that I put in here. Because when you're doing this, you've got to follow this precisely. I have to ungroup this sheet. Actually, I'm going to show you something. I'm just trying to type the word group in this one sheet here. I'm going to ungroup. Watch what it did here. When you have it grouped here, you're going to have a train wreck. Make sure you ungroup. And this is the formula page. I have to go back into the page setup again. I'm going to go into Control P. I'm going to say, it says entire workbook here. I go to the second sheet here. It's showing everything in here. You have to be very careful with this final step R, that you don't do things. You save, you print, we're done.